2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. 10 years of dominance. RB Salzburg has dominated Austrian football for a decade. After Red Bull purchased the club back in 2005, the reaction to the takeover was met with huge praise. Psych, huge backlash. As Austria Salzburg, a club with 3 Bundesliga titles in their history, was completely wiped out. Immediately, the club's colors were changed from their traditional purple and white to the red and white of Red Bull. Fans of Austria Salzburg, known as the Violet Whites, were disgusted by the lack of respect for the traditions of the club and founded their own club in the lower divisions of Austrian football. RB Salzburg's immediate new cash was evident in the early phases of the takeover. As from 2005 to 2010, RB Salzburg spent 5 times more than their nearest competitors in the transfer window. However, in 2012, the club's philosophy completely switched. Rather than signing players from other Bundesliga sides or elder players on free transfers, the club opted for a more youthful approach. This coincides with Red Bull's purchase of FC Liefering. This club would play in the lower divisions of Austrian football and would be used as a farm team to develop the young talents for RB Salzburg. And another massive arrival in 2012 was the presence of a new sporting director, Ralf Rangnick. The average age of the squad in 2012 was almost 30 years old. Rangnick's idea for the club: we needed to not only focus our attention on winning titles, but also on developing players. By scouting and developing young players, we should look to sell them for a big profit. I wanted to sell players for double figures within 2 years. Journalist Christian Heiko highlighted this as well. When they started, they brought in top stars, but now fans can identify with this team. They have a very good youth team and developed players. This radical change was evident in the 2012 summer when RB Salzburg signed young talents: 21-year-old Kevin Campbell, 19-year-old Valan Berisha, and a 20-year-old Sadio Mane. While the club didn't win the league title in 2013, the new ideas that Rangnick brought were about to change Austrian football and ensure a philosophy that could be sustained for many years. As after the trophyless season in 2013, RB Salzburg went on to dominate Austrian football, winning 10 league titles in a row and also winning 8 Austrian Cups during that time, and developing some incredible talents: Dominik Szoboszlai to Karim Adeyemi, Naby Keita, Dayot Upamecano, Takumi Minamino, and the most evident, Erling Braut Haaland. The youth project wasn't just successful with the men's team, but also the youth teams. In 2017, RB Salzburg won the UEFA Youth League, beating massive clubs like PSG, Barca, and Benfica in the final. And while the departure of Ralf Rangnick as technical director didn't affect the team, Christian Freund took over in 2015 and Red Bull's dominance seemed irresistible. The club weren't just dominating Austria, but even competing against the top teams in Europe. In 2018, the club advanced to the semi-finals of the Europa League, knocking out along the way Real Sociedad, Borussia Dortmund, Lazio before being eliminated by Marseille. And in 2019, the club, after many unsuccessful attempts, qualified to the UCL group stage for the first time ever. The club's success continued by advancing to the knockouts of the UCL in 2022 for the first time ever before getting demolished by Bayern Munich. RB Salzburg had built a factory of winning and producing talents. What on earth could stop this dominance? The 2023 summer, Christian Freund, who began working at RB Salzburg way back in 2006 and became sporting director in 2015, he departed the club and joined Bayern Munich in the summer. Bernhard Sugbugner, who took over as sports director from Freund, has spent all of his career in Salzburg. Prior to that, he was the sports manager at FC Liefering for a year. However, most of the transfers during that summer were still done by Christian Freund. His departure wasn't the only one. Matthias Jaissel, a young and up-and-coming manager who guided RB Salzburg to the UCL round of 16 appearance, was sacked a day before the league starting and would eventually join Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. A couple days later, Göran Struber was announced manager, previously working with sister club New York Red Bulls. But as Alex Nicol of Victory highlighted, that Freund's departure was catastrophic. He is the key factor of the development and the success in the last years. Without him, Salzburg wouldn't be the club it is now. With the departure of 2 key pieces in RB Salzburg dominance and truly golden period between 2021 and 2023, how would RB Salzburg bounce back from a chaotic few days?
He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is?
The club started a perfect 6 for 6 to start the season, but a surprising loss to Viblins and Las Glins at home signaled not everything was smooth sailing in Salzburg. But after the first half of the season, RB Salzburg were 2 points ahead of Sturm Graz. The European success wasn't there, as they finished bottom of the UCL group, not even qualifying for the Europa League. The problems were evident. The team, while succeeding in Austria, continually conceded goals compared to previous seasons. The style and identity strongly associated with Red Bull brand were not present in Struber's team. And after the winter break, RB Salzburg picked up a massive win over Sturm Graz to go 5 points clear. And after a semi-final loss in the cup to Sturm Graz, everything unraveled like a Kardashian relationship. Salzburg would draw their next game against Rapid Vienna, and after a loss to Las Glintz, Sturm Graz would win their next 2 games and be level on points with Salzburg. Salzburg's board of directors decided to sack Struber and bring in Unu Sinil from FC Liefering. But Sinil could do nothing to salvage the sinking ship that was Salzburg, as they would pick up 1 win in the next 4 games. And although Sturm Graz weren't able to clinch the title on matchday 31, Sturm Graz would win the title on the final matchday to finally end the dominance of Red Bull. And Salzburg suffered their first trophyless season since 2013. After a disastrous season, how would RB Salzburg bounce back in 2024? Well, similar to Drake against Kendrick Lamar, not good. In Soin Buchner's first summer window, his task was to hire a new manager, and former Jurgen Klopp assistant at Liverpool, Pep Linders, was the man selected to bring Salzburg back to dominance. The summer transfer window was a calamity. As Dorian Schuster described it, after Freund's transfer to Bayern, Soin Buchner had to work on his own, and the transfers he conducted didn't strengthen the team. Serbian star defender Pavlovic was sold to AC Milan without a replacement. Instead, the club hoped Piałowski, who returned from a disappointing loan at Granada, would fill the void of Pavlovic. Alongside Linders, RB Salzburg also brought in 2 Liverpool players. First, Bobby Clark for 11 million and Stefan Bajcetic on loan. And with the departure of Solet in defense and Sucic in the midfield, the bounce-back summer for Salzburg turned out to make the squad even worse. So inadequate replacement for key players, alongside a new manager, RB Salzburg woes were just beginning. They actually started the season well with 6 wins in the opening 8 games, but the disaster started to show in the UCL. Where in the opening 2 games of the UCL league phase, Salzburg lost to Sparta Praha 3-0 away, and then a 4-0 loss at home to European debutants Stade Brestois. And only a couple of days later, after the Stade Brestois loss, Salzburg got demolished by Sturm Graz 5-0, the heaviest defeat in their history against Sturm Graz. And after another loss in the UCL to Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg went on a 5-game winless run in the Bundesliga. The winless run included a humiliating defeat to Bayer Leverkusen 5-0. That game signaled massive red flags to many people. Former Austrian international Andreas Hörsig described the game: intensity 0, mentality 0. They make a substitution after 15 minutes, and the substitute hasn't even put his socks on yet. Salzburg are really making a fool of themselves in Europe. Linders echoed the criticism: I can accept a defeat, but not like this. Leverkusen was much better in every aspect: second balls, pressing, and after 15 minutes, the game was over. While the club bounced back slightly before the winter break, RB Salzburg heading into 2025 are sitting in 5th position of the Austrian Bundesliga, 10 points behind Sturm Graz. And while not eliminated mathematically from the UCL, they are basically out, with only 3 points and a minus 15 goal difference, conceding 18 goals in 6 games. Linders was hired with huge potential, but didn't work out. His pressing style, similar to Klopp's, wasn't suiting this team, and the team were getting cut up easily on the counter-attack. And another blunder for Linders was his stance on starting Blasic every game. As one journalist stated, Blasic plays every game despite accumulating blunders every single match. Meanwhile, Alexander Schlager sits on the bench, and none of the fans understand why. During the Stade Brestois game, after a bad error by Blasic, the whole stadium chanted Alexander Schlager's name. And on December 16th, heading into the winter break, RB Salzburg sacked Pep Linders after a couple months in the job, and former Bochum manager Thomas Leitz was hired. But the problems for RB Salzburg aren't immediate fix. The squad is poorly put together, and it is a mixture of talented and demotivated Freund signings, combined with Linders and Soin Buchner's signings based on their connections. It seems inevitable that RB Salzburg might go back-to-back seasons trophyless. And is this a good thing for Austrian football? Who knows, but RB Salzburg will need a massive shakeup next summer, and maybe now with the arrival of Jurgen Klopp. Klopp was hired as the head of global football at Red Bull. Starting in January 2025, Klopp will be involved in the global scouting and development of coaches in the Red Bull networks of clubs. Nonetheless, many football fans around the world are loving this, including myself. Parity is needed in football, especially against multi-owner clubs like Red Bull. Maybe now with the demise of RB Salzburg, we could see the rise of Rapid Vienna, Austria Vienna, and Sturm Graz are dominating the league at the moment. The downfall of RB Salzburg may just be a little glimpse into the future of Austrian football. Preliminary thoughts in the comments down below. Why do you think RB Salzburg are failing at the moment? And will we see more parity in Austrian football in the future? Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, as we're on the road to 20k. Remember to follow me on all the socials. You can find those links in the description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.